What's up? I'm Kwame. This is Mayday Media. Welcome to the bakery. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for anything dealing with audio and sound because I'm here to have fun and create and enjoy myself while I'm doing it. But today, we're talking about keyboards. So, first keyboard. This is the Logitech MK540. It's a mouse and keyboard combination. It goes for $49.99 on Amazon. And this bad boy here is beautiful for a lot of different reasons. For one, when I first started using FL, the only keyboard I had was the keyboard that came with the computer, which led me to always using this in my workflow. It's very comfortable. All I have to do is just press my keys and it'll play my sound. But you can also disable that and enable a function where you can use the short keys and you can move back and forth between the session and doing different functions a lot faster and quicker. I leave it on this one because it's just more comfortable and most familiar with me. So with that being said, I encourage any and everybody, even if you don't do anything artistic, it's just convenient to have because it's wireless. You can walk around throughout your house, throughout different places, and you don't have to be stuck in front of your computer. And depending on what device you plug it in, it can also work on TVs and other things as well. So just if you do get one of these, try it out on different devices. That's my kind of philosophy on technology. Just plug it in and try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does work, you'll be surprised at what it does. So with that being said, this is the Logitech MK540 MIDI keyboard. With that being said, this is the Logitech MK540 wireless keyboard mouse combination. Keyboard 2, which is a different type of keyboard. This is a MIDI keyboard. This one right here is the M Audio Oxygen 25. It's a controller and a MIDI control. It's a MIDI player and a controller in two, so it's a two-in-one device. And what I mean by that, with FL and a lot of other DAWs, for those that have MIDI controllers that don't know, you can assign these knobs and buttons to control different parameters within your DAW. Let me reiterate that so you can understand what I'm saying. You can assign each one of these knobs or buttons to do another function or control another parameter within your DAW. So that can make it a lot easier for you to move around. Makes it a lot easier for you to execute certain moves. Or if you just want to play live. However you choose to do that, the information is very helpful to know because sometimes you're limited when you don't know about certain information. So with this MIDI controller and other MIDI controllers that are like it, you are able to assign different parameters to different buttons and knobs on here. With that being said, all you have to do is but this is the M Audio Oxygen 25. You connect it via USB. There's also a slot for a sustain key for those that know how to play with a pedal. I haven't gotten that good. I don't practice that much. And also there's a power switch and a Kensington lock space for those that have a Kensington lock and they want to lock it and have it changed to whatever thing so nobody will take it. So, and they call it the 25 because it's 25 keys. Yeah. But this thing is handy. It's multifunctional. I encourage people that don't have one. It's not a necessity, but it can come in handy. The next item I talk about, you'll be able to, it's a little more affordable. This goes for $74.99 on Amazon. It's worth every penny, but there are cheaper options. Might not be as functional as this, but everything is not necessarily a necessity. So with that being said, this is the M Audio Oxygen 25 MIDI keyboard controller. Last but not least, we have the Casio CTK-611. This here is just your standard keyboard. Just your standard keyboard, stock sounds built in. You know, you got your usual grand piano. Then you got, synthetic sounds. And this bad boy here, you can usually find it at pawn shops, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, garage sales, surprisingly, because people are always selling things, and sometimes what they might feel that they don't need no more, you might be able to use. And this bad boy here, it has, it has that beat built in. It has my usual drum sounds built in on the thing, and it has different drum sets on here. But now I use this more like a synthesizer. So I treat all these sounds that's on here, I just run them into my mixer over there. And when I run them into my mixer, you can see it's running right into my DAW. As I'm recording all my vocals, it's picking all that up as well. So for the people that know how to play they know how to actually play, this will work better as an option instead of trying to work with the keyboard the way I do and just press the notes and go back in on the piano roll and plug it in. You can use this way by just playing by hand and just layering it on top of each other as it's going until you get a complete project and you're satisfied with it. I want to get to that point at some point in my career. That's why I got this mixer. I'll talk about that in another video when I go in more detail about mixers and how you use them and how they function on inside the studio and why I bought my mixer. But these three keyboards, they have a lot of different reasons. This one I can use as a MIDI board as well because it has a MIDI plug-in built in on the back. It also has a sustain plug-in on the back for a sustain pedal, and it also has a headphone out, which is what I'm using to take the sound out and running it into my mixer so I can capture the sound. So anything up in here I can use, and I can tweak it from here. I can tweak it there in my mixer. I can tweak it inside my DAW once I capture it. And it just gives me so many different options to create a one-of-one sound. And it's just the options are endless. So it's no end to whatever I want to create. I can potentially create anything and everything between these three things and the sounds that's built into my DAW. I will be acquiring more pieces throughout time, and I'll be doing more videos talking about some of the other things I have in my studio, so you can understand a little bit better how I'm able to create the sounds that you guys hear me push out on my videos. And in time when I'll be working with other companies and working with different people doing different projects, you'll be able to get a better idea of the setup I use to create some of these things. So people won't be like, hey, can you do a how-to or a tutorial? I'm doing it now. Already doing it, been done. I encourage everybody to do it. Sometimes it's about creating content and being present and visible. And this is my way of making myself visible and present so you guys understand I'm knowledgeable at what I do, and I also have a desire to work. So let's have fun creating these things. But this right here is the Casio CTK-611. It's touch sensitive, so I can press it as gentle or I can bang on it. It'll play. It registers just like a regular keyboard, a regular piano. But this is one of my favorites right now because I'm just using this to create different sounds and experiment with different sound ideas. And that's what people call sound design. But it's something fun I like to do in my spare time to keep me sharp and to keep the creative ideas going. Because once I find an idea, I have fun with it and I run with it. But this keyboard, it varies. You can get it. This one, I had a hard time finding this one in particular, but I found different versions of it. I seen one as cheap as $30, and I seen one as high as $200. It just depends on exactly what you're going for and why you're buying it. And that's another thing when you're buying stuff for your equipment, make sure you know why you're buying it and how it's gonna function. It makes no sense to buy something if it's not gonna be used as soon as you buy it. I don't have the budget to buy something and just sit it to the side and find a perfect scenario to use it. Everything I buy, I want to use as soon as I get it, and the reason why I'm usually getting it is to use it as soon as I buy it. So anybody that does want to increase their studio equipment or they want to add things to their arsenal, if you do it, have an intention on using it as soon as you get it. If not, you'll just be wasting money because it's just be sitting up. And we can't afford to do that. So yeah. Also, another thing I like about this keyboard, when I bought it, it had all the keys labeled. Even though I can eyeball and tell which key is what, this helps tremendously. Sometimes when my mind, I have brain farts, and I'm not the only one. Sometimes you might forget which key you're pressing. You might need to look down at your hands. I ain't that good yet. I can't walk down this thing. I can't not walk down the keyboard with my fingers. But it is what it is. But with that being said, this is just your standard keyboard, your standard piano keyboard. It just has like your 100 sounds built in. It has more than that, but on top of the sounds, the keyboards, and all the different built in, you can get an amazing repertoire outside your door. So this is the standard piano keyboard. This is your usual computer keyboard. Damn it. And this is your MIDI keyboard. 3 different types of keyboards, 3 different purposes in the studio. But they all function differently and interchangeably. So I find myself using all 3 sometimes on the same session, doing some of the same things or just different variations of whatever the same function may be. But these 3 things help me get the job done excellently. So those are my 3 keyboards: the Casio CTK-611, the Logitech MK540, and the Audio Oxygen 25 MIDI keyboard controller. Between those 3 things, those 3 different types of keyboards, you should be able to execute any idea, whether you know how to play as a seasoned player or you know how to play as a simple beginner. It works for all different levels. So if I can put them on tiers, the Logitech MK540 would be for beginners. The Audio Oxygen 25 would be more for the intermediate players. And this Casio CTK-611 would be for the experienced in-house church players, guys that get paid to come to churches and tear it up, and they don't even have to look at the keyboard. The guys Stevie level wonder and higher. So between those 3 levels, you should be able to execute any idea at any comfort level. But I encourage you guys to get all 3. These wireless keyboard mouse combinations, they come as cheap as $20. They can go all the way up to a couple hundred for whatever reasons. And they all are very, very good devices to have, whether you get on the cheap end or the high end. These MIDI controllers, they're the same way. There's some on the low end and there's some on the extreme high end, as well as these standard piano keyboards. Each and every one of them are low end as cheap as $30, $40 and can go all the way up to thousands of dollars. But assess your budget. Remember Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, pawn shops, garage sales, sometimes estate sales. People sometimes are getting rid of items that are valuable to you and they are no longer valuable to them. So always be on the lookout for different deals in your local area. And I will do my best to start sharing those ideas, sharing those places I'm finding, or sharing those groups where those that want to be more knowledgeable and find different items. Because I might not have the budget, or I might not be looking for it, but I might have found it. I can just say, hey, here's a mic that might be on sale for $80, but it's a $2,000 mic. Somebody might want to use this. So I'm encouraging community. So those that want to tap in with me, let's build a community. Let's start communicating so we can actually start building each other up and facilitating an environment for us to create flawlessly and effortlessly. But again, I want to thank you. Thank you for tuning in again. My name is Kwame. This is Mayday Media. Welcome to the bakery. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel for more updates for anything when it comes to dealing with audio, sound. So let's have some fun with these ideas. You feel me? Again, still getting used to being in front of the camera. Don't know how to end it yet. I'll figure one out later. But this is the bakery. I'm out. What's up, guys? This is Kwame. This is Mayday Media. Welcome to the bakery. And today, we're talking about keyboards. Whew. So, and sometimes there is more than one way to skin a cat. Motherfucker, I wasn't even recording my audio.